Charles came to play tonight. And a steal. Miller retreats to the three-point line. Weber imploring the crowd.
Jimmy Smith hitting the three. Here's Isaiah. A goal!
Rick Fox pumps up a three.
Settle in for another fun-filled episode of Open Court on NBA TV. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for being with us. Ernie Johnson, along with this esteemed panel of seven, beginning with Charles Barkley.
You forgot my name already?
No, I was trying to, but it just won't happen.
Undershirtless Charles Barkley.
Yeah, well, people don't need to know that. They don't need to know.
Please.
You just don't want to be watching when he's adjusting his mic. Rick Fox does not have the same problem. He's seated to the left of the Chuckster.
A little chest hair for you people.
Taco meat. Well, we really appreciate that. Do we have to go any further with the intros? And, of course, there were five other guys. Kenny the Jet Smith is here. How are you, Shaq?
He's showing those rings again.
Reggie Miller joins us for this edition of Open Court. Isaiah Thomas and Chris Weber.
Thank you.
All here. And this is always a fun show because this is the season preview edition. And what I'd like to begin with is the biggest news of the offseason. That would be the move of Wayne Ellington from Dallas to New York in the Tyson Chandler trade.
Who he play for?
Big news of the day, LeBron James telling SI.com he's going back to Cleveland.
I am so excited for LeBron. I'm so excited for Cleveland.
A fair person would say that they are surprised. What they had built down in Miami was, with some tinkering, could be built to last. It's a great redemption story.
How he did it this time, you have to give him credit. It was classy, it was well done.
LeBron James, a Cleveland Cavalier.
Look at this list.
Never should have left. Thank you, Ernie.
Yeah, look at the list. Yeah, thank you.
Gasol.
I agree with you. I think he makes the difference in Chicago this year.
That takes Chicago, I think, to where they need to be.
Doesn't it take Cleveland there, too?
I think they have too much inexperience.
Who?
Cleveland right now.
Cleveland?
Two guys that's never been in the playoffs and a rookie coach that's never coached in the NBA and that's never actually coached in America.
Ernie.
So I think that's a lot to overcome in your first year. I think that's too much to overcome in your first year.
Ernie, the best move for me this summer, besides LeBron going to Cleveland, was also the addition of Kevin Love. You know, I want to apologize to Kevin. Now, the first 2 years, I really didn't watch him. I said Blake was better than him. I'm going on record now saying Kevin Love is the best power forward in the game. Forget, his points. Imagine him getting 16, 17 rebounds, outletting it to either Kyrie or LeBron. That's a dangerous team right there. My favorites, besides the Spurs.
For me, when I look on that list, I think you're right with LeBron and, definitely Kevin Love. But one of the things I think is under the radar is Paul Pierce. I know he's old. I know he might not be able to do much physically, but I'm watching the Washington Wizards last year in the playoffs. A lot of their mistakes was mental, and they didn't have those veterans in the locker room teaching them how to do the right thing. And I think that when Paul gets in that locker room, if Wall and those guys are who I think they are, I think he'll have a different impact on them, where it'll be a veteran saying it's not enough what we did, but I expect more. Like, Wall, who are you going to become? Are you going to be happy with who you are? Are you going to be one of the best? Because I'm one of the best if it's Paul. So I just sometimes, like when Chucky Brown came to our team, he didn't play 1 minute, but the team changed, and I just –
Coming from those championship years in Houston.
Thank you for helping him to help us.
Hey, the absence of LeBron leaves a hole in Miami. I think that'll be interesting to see if a Luol Deng or the combination of Luol and Granger, a healthy Granger, can fill that hole.
Of LeBron?
Of LeBron, but I don't think it's possible, but still it makes it an interesting watch.
Which is funny, they still could possibly get back to the Eastern Conference Final.
Who?
What?
Stop it.
Who? Man, please.
With Indiana.
Reaches for coffee.
With the uncertainty of Derrick Rose.
Wow.
See, who else is there? Who else is in the?
We're gonna pick apart the East and the West too.
Last
a little bit later.
Last year we spent the whole year in line on television. What I mean by this, somebody got a chance against Indiana and Miami, which was bogus. We knew they were going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals before the season started. And I think if we think somebody other than Chicago and Cleveland going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals, I think we're aligned also. I think the only question is, I think obviously Cleveland's loaded. But the key to me is Derrick Rose. You know, I'm going to tell you something. I like them getting Gasol. I think with Noah and Gasol, they're terrific. And let me tell you something. Doug McDermott can flat out play. And to me, he's going to be a guy who's going to play even better when he play with better players. And one guy people's not talking about is the big kid from overseas. I can't think of his name.
Nikola Mirotic.
What's his name?
Nikola Mirotic.
Mirotic. He can really play. I'm not sure that Cleveland have enough big guys to match up with all those guys. But if Derrick Rose is not healthy, I still think they will get to the Eastern Conference Final, but I don't think they can beat Cleveland unless Derrick Rose is healthy.
See, I think Cleveland, to me, their weakness will come down, and I'll echo what Kenny was saying earlier, coaching. I don't think you come into this league as a first-year coach and go to the NBA Finals and win. Now, we saw Spoelstra come out of the video room, you know, and go to the NBA Finals. But their first trip to the finals with the Big Three, they lost to Dallas. And, you know, there were some situations that we were all discussing during that series where we were saying, well, not sure if there was the right move made. Spoelstra came back and got better.
But I'm saying,
I don't know if in Cleveland.
But I'm saying just getting to the, we're talking about just the East right now. I think they can get to the finals. I'm not saying they can beat anybody from the West.
Yeah. See, I think Thibodeau, at the end of the day, if it's a Chicago-Cleveland matchup,
he finds a way.
What about without Rose?
Even without Rose, I go with Chicago because all of you know, sitting in this room, when you get to Eastern Conference, Western Conference championship level play, it's more about what that coach is calling on the bench sometimes than the actual shot that you're trying to make. I mean, coaching matters, and if you don't know the teams, if you don't understand the way the playoffs go and how the referees are going to call the game, matchups, so forth and so on, you're behind the eight ball. And I think Thibodeau will have the edge.
Now, to David Blatt's defense, he's an unbelievable offensive mind, which can put LeBron James and Kyrie and Dion Waiters and Kevin Love all in the right places. But I agree with you, Coach. End of the day, coaching only in the NBA, it's all about the players. It's a players' leagues. We all know that. But for coaches, where they make their money, their bread, is come playoff time.
Yeah.
And when you get to a conference semifinals, a conference finals, and the NBA finals, those X's and O's, because that's all we talk about come conference finals times, are the adjustments a coaches and a coaching staff makes. It'll remain to be seen what David Blatt does on the biggest stage.
Kenny's point about the youth and inexperience in Cleveland, we saw the Boston Celtics do it with KG, Ray Allen and Paul Pierce, but they were veterans. They had been through the wars. And then a Doc Rivers who had coached in the league. That's the opposite in Cleveland right now. You're talking about LeBron, but a lot of youth, a lot of playoff inexperience.
Go to the 4, though. And being that LeBron can go to the 4, I hear everything everybody's saying. But if he go to the 4 against Chicago, Gasol or Noah's not playing.
But that's why
you're having that switch and that dynamic. If you put him at the 4 and Kevin Love at the 5, that could still get 20 rebounds and stretch, and Kyrie Irving put the ball in his hands, I agree, especially with the coach and Zeke, and I don't know how a new coach could come in and have a great impact. I can't even see that.
Yeah,
I can't even see it.
Can he have that feel that you just talked about?
I can't even see it. Yeah, but hopefully LeBron says, put me in the post and goes to the 4. And
you know, yeah, I think obviously it's gonna be two things when you watch this Cavaliers team play. Number one, the coach. I agree with you, but the person who has to make the biggest adjustment is Kyrie Irving. He's going to have to learn to play without the ball for the first time in his life. You know, LeBron's a point forward. Kyrie is going to have to. It's going to be interesting watching his maturity. I think. Listen, having LeBron, I think LeBron is one of the smartest basketball players we've ever seen. I think that's going to help the coaching. But also, I think they know that the only team that can beat them is the Bulls.
We're just beginning to scratch the surface on this preview of the NBA season here on Open Court. We will continue, go more in depth on the East. We'll go into the West. We'll talk about rookies to watch. It's all ahead on Open Court here on NBA TV. So back here on Open Court, and when you look at the 8 teams that did make the playoffs in the Eastern Conference a year ago, the Cleveland Cavaliers not among them. You had, for review, Indiana, Miami, Toronto, Chicago, Washington, Brooklyn, Charlotte, Atlanta. Think about that list. Who do you bump off of it this year?
Indiana, unfortunately. Injury.
Used be the Paul George is.
Paul George leg
that
injury,
is Lance Stevenson gone.
Talents to Charlotte.
Yeah.
I just think that team is in a rebuilding mode for a year. Obviously having one of the best two-way players in the game in Paul George. I think that's really going to I know they went out and got Rodney Stuckey, C.J. Miles, but they're not the type of player that Paul George is. So I could see them going off. And quite frankly, I know Atlanta's been in the news lately, and I know they were exciting and they pushed Indiana. I could see them battling with Charlotte, Detroit for that 7th, 8th, 9th spot.
I'll tell you what, the team that's going to be surprised people this year is the Charlotte Bobcats, the Hornets now. I love what they did. I love the kid, Noah Vonleh from Indiana. I think the addition of Lance Stevenson, Al Jefferson for another year, I think they're really going to make they got a chance of being in the top 4. If I had to bump a team, I might take the Hawks out of that equation. I think they're going to make the playoffs. I do. I think their coach is too good. I think they got too much veteran leadership.
I'm interested in seeing if Miami will be a team that's in the top 4 spots, or will they become a team that's fighting to even make the playoffs?
Yeah,
because Miami is a team. The culture has been the same for a long time. They strive on getting one of those first 4 spots.
I think New York is going to be a playoff team this year. I think Carmelo Anthony comes back with a renewed sense of energy and urgency. I think Fisher has a good impact and quiet impact on the team in terms of J.R. Smith and those guys getting healthy, coming back. I think the system that they're going to employ will be steady enough throughout the season. And I do think everybody coming back healthy gives them an opportunity to make that 7th, 8th spot. I think the Knicks are going to surprise people this year.
Where will Phil Jackson's impact be most noticeable on that team?
When we first met Phil, I think we went 3-9.
It took a minute, yeah.
Took a minute, and then we just had an all-out meeting and said, okay, we're going to embrace it. Once we embraced it, then we became.
Who was the we? Was it you?
Yeah, it was me. Well, no, not me.
He wasn't here. You don't agree with me? Who did? Was it not you?
Glenn Rice. Was it Kobe?
It was Big Shot Bob.
Hey, to your point, New York will make some. They'll make some noise. They definitely will.
What you mean noise?
They'll make some noise.
What that mean?
They could go either way. It's kind of like what Shaq says. You agree with me? Don't agree with me? I agree with both. They're going to make noise. We'll be talking about them because the expectations.
Are they a
shift.
playoff team?
Yes, they're a playoff team. I think Miami. You have them really high. You think they can still go back? I think they slide, and I think they slide potentially, to your point, Shaq, potentially out of the playoffs.
Wow.
And the reason I go there is that the mileage is still on their 2 best players. The mileage on Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade is high in the last 4 years. They've gone to the NBA Finals the last 4 years in a row. Dwayne Wade has played at least 20 games less each year.
I actually think they're going to make the playoffs, in my opinion. I think the Dwayne Wade thing is whether they finish in the top 4 or 6 or 7 or 8. Because if he misses 25, 30 games, they're a 6 to 7 seed, in my opinion.
I think Bosh gets back to what he was, maybe not numbers-wise, but back in the post area when he was in Toronto. To me,
He's been down there in a while.
I know it's been because
he weighs about as much as you do, Reggie.
To Coach's point, what they did that second year with Spoelstra when they changed the offense, they made Chris Bosh a stretch 4 because they wanted to open it up for LeBron and Dwayne and to drive and to kick to Ray Allen, Mike Miller, Chalmers, Bosh to make threes. You saw when Dwayne Wade was hurt, when it was really just LeBron and Chris Bosh.
That's 2 big guys, though, LeBron and Chris Bosh. Dwayne goes down this year as Chris Bosh.
But I think Luol Deng is going to play better than what people expect. Pat Riley has a plan. You guys know better than anyone.
All-star. Yeah. It's not like he's more than serviceable.
Right.
He's a piece that over the last 3 years that people were saying that could help someone else or help them get to a championship.
What happened in Cleveland?
Well, what do you mean?
When he made the transition to Cleveland,
it's like when you're on a ship that's sinking, and you're the only one who knows how to swim, you just start swimming.
Okay, so
Don't look back. Don't look back.
hey, well, bye. So Miami's not sinking, is what you're saying. LeBron leaving the ship. Miami's not sinking.
But I do think LeBron leaving, one thing that we miss in LeBron is that him leaving, Miami loses, in my opinion, the best defender in the game.
No question.
You know, because we always talk about his offense, but the things that he
covered
brought
up
to
a
them
lot of sins.
Those touchdown
defensively.
passes, they can't even play as fast without LeBron. He was the four-man. LeBron, name another team, maybe Westbrook, where the point guard gets it and pushes it up. And I thought that was unique about that team. Both of those guys, I think it's going to be a big drop-off. I'm more with you. I don't really see them making the playoffs because now the best defender can check Bosh. And then one more point about the triangle. I thought the best thing about the triangle was that it put people on a leash. Like, you know, Chuck, say you played and the guy was going crazy. You're like, why is my teammate doing this? He knows this is not his game or something like that. When we played you guys, it was always perfection, center opposite, this, that, and no one could just go crazy on their own. And I think that that's actually going to help New York, who has a problem with a bunch of guys going one-on-one crazy. And if they can actually just get shots in good places, you know, your offense is your defense, and I think New York is going to be better.
A friend of mine, Quinn Buckner, ran the triangle in Dallas.
Who did he run it with?
It was a square. But my point is about the players. And listen, these guys are all good players. I want to make that clear. But Carmelo, Iman Shumpert, J.R. Smith,
Amari Stoudemire,
Hardaway Jr.
If you've been in the NBA for 8, 9, 10 years, I don't think you're going to change. And those guys ain't going to be moving without the ball, going here, walking, going through the path, running through there. I just think at some point you are the player you are. And I think it's going to be very difficult for those guys in New York to all of a sudden now like, okay, I'm open, but I can't shoot this.
Yeah. I think it's more, Chuck, everything does it. Everything in the triangle seemed like it would work for New York, even with that lineup, until they start losing. Will they abandon it when the stretches and when it gets adversity in the game or difficulty, and you just go, you know what? D-Fish, you're a first-year guy. I'm doing my. That's when it. That's
what I think is going to happen.
Yeah.
Are they the best team in New York? Because we haven't even touched on Brooklyn. They get Lionel Hollins, who we all feel got robbed in Memphis, who's an excellent coach.
Great coach.
Lopez.
It's all about
Lopez.
health with them.
It's all about Lopez.
If Lopez comes back,
they're not a better
Darren Williams comes back. He had ankle surgery on both ankles.
And I just read he said he feels 100%.
Are they
first time in
to me, I think they're the best team in New York.
I think it's on
Yeah,
D.
if
Williams.
Lopez and Williams are healthy, then you're correct. Yes.
Then now you have, I mean, to me, no one's really talking about them. They're flying underneath the radar. I think Brooklyn is going to be a scary team.
If Cleveland is a team that we know that didn't make the playoffs in the East last year but will this year, is anybody else out of this group ready to make a move into the top 8? Boston, Detroit, New York? Well, Foxy likes New York getting in there. Orlando, Philly, Milwaukee.
I think Detroit is.
Let me say this, and I was getting
Detroit's got talent.
Ernie, it is, and Isaiah probably knows more because we all pay attention to our own team, our old teams a little bit more. I cannot believe that with all the talent that Detroit have, they don't make the playoffs. And I mean, not even close. I mean, that team to me, when you look at their team on paper, they should be a top 4 team.
That front line, arguably one of the best front lines with Josh Smith, Greg Monroe, and Andre Drummond. If Stan Van Gundy can't get these guys motivated to play on a nightly basis, because they got the size, they got the rebounding, to me, Brandon Jennings has to reinvent his game.
Yeah.
Josh Smith.
That's true.
Josh Smith.
Yes, but the guy that's going to be facilitating and getting all these great scores and rebounders the ball, Brandon Jennings has to reinvent his game because he's always been a one-on-one type score-first point guard. He has to reinvent his game if the Pistons are going to be in the top 8.
Chuck's point, at this point, is he the player he's going to be?
Well, you got to ask that about
6,
D. Williams,
7.
too.
Well, I think that's why they went out.
Williams more is about health, though.
You know what, Chuck? I don't know, because he's always been a hamburger away.
Yeah.
You really want to be honest.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's always in Utah. And
Like McDonald's, Burger King?
you know, he in shape. He a great player. He's a great player. You know, you get mad for saying this, but, you know, he's always been a little bit almost out of shape. And then when he wasn't in Utah attacking like that, and I know it's injuries, but because he was one of my favorite players, I was watching him like, okay, come on, D, let's watch how you go. And I just think for him and Brandon Jennings, it is, like you said, you are that player, but it's great when you get a coach that kind of shows you a little bit of what else you could do and say, hey, just try this out. And hopefully it works so he can keep trying it and don't get frustrated.
Right.
But Brandon has to change his game.
Well, a one-word answer here before we go to break. I don't know if you want to say they come out of the East to go to the finals. Best record in the Eastern Conference in the regular season will belong to
the Cavaliers.
That's 2 words.
What?
The Cavaliers.
The Cavaliers.
Cleveland would work.
The big dummy.
You fell for it.
Auburn education.
Hey, reel him in.
Oh boy.
Come on there, big fella.
My goodness.
Keep it up, Ernie. Right between the eyes.
Okay, Rick.
Bulls, I'm going to make pick last year.
One word.
Bulls.
Bulls.
Chicago.
Cavs.
Chicago.
Chicago.
Bulls.
That's something to something. Was it 5-3 or 6-2? Chicago? 6-2 Chicago. All right. Western Conference. Right around the bend here on Open Court. Back here on Open Court, as we take a look ahead at the upcoming NBA season. We've gone through the Eastern Conference. Now we turn our attention to the West, and I guess we'll start it the same way we did the East when we look at who made the playoffs last year in the Western Conference. San Antonio, OKC, the Clippers, the Rockets, the Blazers, Golden State, the Grizz, and Dallas at number 8. What's your feeling right off the bat, Kenny, on how things change? Or maybe of those top 8, who faces the biggest struggle to stay in the top 8?
Well, the West is loaded, and they didn't have as much movement, much injury. I think that this might be the only one I said the breakout year, to break through rather, again, would be Oklahoma. I think they could break through this year. You know, the Spurs are great. And they had a great 2-year run, and I think it will be those two again in the conference final.
Ernie, I see Phoenix capitalizing off what they did last year.
Reggie.
Hold on.
Phoenix.
Hold on. Phoenix almost made it last year. Yeah, they almost made it last year. Dallas, Dirk is a year older. So I see Phoenix capitalizing off what they did last year and squeaking in at the 8th spot.
I think the 8 stay the same in the West, but the Pelicans can push. And to me, a dark horse, the Denver Nuggets. I know no one wants to talk about them, but if they all stay healthy and they can get Gallinari back, JaVale McGee, Aaron Aflalo, who was just gifted to them from Orlando. They drafted well in Gary Harris. Yeah, I don't know if they'll make the playoffs, but they may be better than Phoenix. No,
they're better than Phoenix, in my opinion. Let me say this, Ernie. I'm gonna go out on a limb here.
Hope that's what, Kenny?
Strong limb.
You know, obviously, the Oklahoma City and the Spurs are gonna be up there. I think the Dallas Mavericks got a really good chance of winning the entire West.
Really?
I think. Listen, Chandler Parsons is a terrific player, but one of my favorite players out to know is Tyson Chandler. I think he's the reason the Mavs didn't have one better the last couple of years. When they let him go to New York, he made an immediate impact in New York, winning Defensive Player of the Year. They didn't win the championship until they got Tyson Chandler. He was huge when they won the title. I think him coming back to Dallas and getting Chandler Parsons, you talked about Jameer. I actually think the sleeper in the West is the Dallas Mavericks.
I agree with you. I think Dallas is a sleeper too, and I do think they can move up from that 8th spot to 4. I worry about Houston right now. I think Houston could slide back. I think Portland will remain steady, but I agree with Reg, the dark horse that can really change the face of the West if they all get healthy and start playing well is the Pelicans. I like what they put together down there.
Huge, because now you put Anthony Davis.
They got
at the
Davis,
4.
Osik, they got a front line. I mean, they got shooters.
And Dallas, they were the only team that took the Spurs to 7.
Yeah, to 7. They gave them the best run.
let me ask you all you guys one question. Is Anthony Davis the next superstar in the NBA?
Yes.
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 I think he'll
And he's from
finish
Chicago.
in the top three.
He's what?
What you say?
Just to let them know.
He's from Chicago. So.
Man, I don't think
Those
we
Chicago
never.
kids.
I don't think we haven't showed the Hornets Pelicans on television in years, but I got a chance to see this kid play a little bit this summer. Man, he's gonna be the next superstar in the NBA.
What do the Lakers got left?
Shaq.
About as much as
They got a Kobe Bryant left.
They got Kobe. They got a lot of young players. You know, they'll make some noise, but I don't really see them, making the playoffs.
It's going to be interesting to see how Kobe really comes back and performs at a high level. Obviously, you two know him very well. I mean, those are two serious injuries that he's had over the last 2 years. And we remember Kobe as being the one guy who dominated the offense. It's going to be a different offense with Byron Scott.
Right.
And how their relationship is going to be a huge factor on a young team.
I'd like to ask you this question. Like when you got injured and you were the most dominant player that we've ever seen, or played against, outside of, from old film or seeing Wilt Chamberlain. But when you couldn't dominate like you wanted to because of injuries, how did that affect your mindset in your game?
Well,
and if Kobe can't dominate, how does it affect him?
I have to disagree with something you're saying. I could never not dominate because of injuries. The only thing that helped me stop dominating was age. So Kobe is 35. 35 and 25 is different. So, for us, we all try to do the same things we did when we were younger. Just not the same.
So when you were running up the court and then you look like you got shot and you pull your hands.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's just not worth the effort to stand up anymore.
Sensitive, Kenny. Come on now.
I thought that was
I'm 39.
vintage Kobe right there.
Kobe Bryant's one of the 10 greatest players ever. He's got the heart of a lion. But there's a reason guys keep getting hurt. Your body just can't take it. Kenny always has a great saying. There's only so many jumps in those knees. And you can work out as hard as you want to. You can do all the rehab you want to. Once you start adding up these minutes, there's nothing you can do. That's the reason we're sitting here on television not playing. If we could still be playing, we'd still be playing.
San Antonio, OKC, and the Clippers 1-2-3 last year in the West. Who's 1-2-3 in the West this year?
Memphis is getting up there.
What?
Yes, Memphis is getting up there.
Oh.
Memphis would have
How
been
about-
Memphis would have been a 62-win team last year if Marc Gasol hadn't missed 22. What?
If Smith.
I'm telling you, they're going to be in the top three.
Okay.
And who's going to be out there?
Well, you got the Clippers are still there. San Antonio's still there. I think OKC slides to fourth.
Spurs 1, OKC 2, Clippers 3, Houston 4.
No,
I think the Clippers slide.
I don't see Houston.
Houston?
I don't see Houston at 4.
They better be
man.
careful,
Houston
man.
4. Let's go, Dwight. 28-15, Dwight.
San Antonio still the best team?
I think so. I think so because they still have the best mind frame. Yeah. They beat the best player last year in LeBron and the best three, and you still got to think what a great coach, even though he's not coaching, Pat Riley is to still, instill that in their team. And, I'm worried about OKC. Yeah. They're so good, and I love Westbrook, Durant, but we saw, if you watched them in the playoffs last year, I didn't see them getting better. I'm not putting it on the coach, I'm not putting on anything, but it just didn't seem that they had that same fluidity. They play hard, they're kind of hard to understand in the playoffs, especially when the runs were coming against them.
And he's right. The Thunder are a fabulous regular season team. They're going to put up 50 to 55, 57 wins. Where their flaws come out, and we've talked about this, in my opinion, comes coaching in the playoffs. When you have to make those tough adjustments of maybe sitting down a Kendrick Perkins and going with the smaller lineups, those are tough decisions to make. And I think that's where the Thunder fall short to me.
I worry about the Clippers. And I worry about the Clippers because I don't know if Paul can elevate his game to another level. I don't know if Blake can have the same type of season that he had last year and go to another level. And for the Clippers to be the type of team that we all think they can be, those two players in particular, even though they've gone to another level, they got to raise their game higher. And I don't know if they can play any better than they played.
When you say higher, Isaiah, what specifically is missing to take it?
Well, at some point, Kenny, you got to look a guy in the eye and says, "I'm just going to kick your ass." At some point, that's what it comes down to. Let me just say there's two problems here for the two teams you guys talking about. I think the Clippers got two problems. They're two big guys. You can't play them in the fourth quarter because they can't shoot free throws.
Stop it. That don't mean nothing.
Well,
that don't mean nothing.
Yes, it does.
Does not.
Yes, it does. Yes,
it does not. I heard you guys say that many times, and we have 4 parades because y'all don't know what y'all talking about.
Well, because you play with, listen.
Yeah, but you was getting 38 and 25.
Stepping over the line.
15.
Free throw didn't even.
All right.
I want to make this point.
You also made free throws in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, but I say I want to make finish these 2 quick points. The problem that Chris Paul got is he can't elevate over Parker or Westbrook. Those guys are just as good as him. As far as Oklahoma City, man, I don't think it's coaching, man. I just think they can't get easy baskets. They are built for the regular season. I think when they get a big guy down low to take some pressure off Durant,
scoring-wise, or just a big guy to, like Adams, the guy that they drafted?
I love Adams.
Right. I think they need to start him.
Yeah, I think
really
so, too. We totally agree on that.
Not only that, Ernie, in the terms of, speaking about OKC, in the history of the game, every team that had a great 1-2 punch, either the 1 or the 2 had to sacrifice. A lot of time Westbrook just is I'm going to get mine. It's his job to get Durant involved, get everybody else involved, and then get his. Once he has that mindset to, okay, I'm going to be a point guard, he has to, sometimes let go. And that's a, slippery slope. You don't want to, tame a, wild tiger that's guarding the yard. But, if he learns to sacrifice a little more, I think they can go to the next level.
Wild tiger guarding the yard?
Yes, my yard.
Where are you living?
30 acres. Lawrenceville.
30 acres.
Lawrenceville, Gwinnett County, what's up?
LSU. That's LSU.
So, okay, another one word. I've got the Spurs. Who you got?
In the West, you saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Spurs.
Spurs.
I'm tired of fighting it.
No, they too old this year.
Man, Spurs, man.
Spurs.
Oklahoma City.
Whoa.
Same thing you said last year and the year before that.
That's awesome. Hey, by the way, you see who's back here in the back?
Hey!
Our
Craig,
homage
what's up, baby?
to Craig Sager, as we have the cutout back here, and we certainly look forward to the day when Craig is back with us on the sidelines.
Hopefully by the time this airs.
Working telecasts on the NBA on TNT, and boy, he's had a fight for the last several months, and just given cancer all it can handle. So, Segs, best to you. See you soon. Can't wait to see you back at work. We'll take a break.
When we be doing the NCAA tournament, the CBS studio is next door, so all these old coaches come through, and I say, "Hey, coach, how you doing?" Ken's like, "Hey, man." Oh, he's not coaching. No,
you gotta give him the respect.
He'll do it on the side. I agree with you. He'll do it on the side. He says, "Hey, man, he ain't got no job."
Can't be a doctor.
Back here on Open Court, looking ahead to the season that is fast approaching, and so who are the rookies that you can't wait to see in action? Reg, you get the first crack at this.
Look, I talked about the Spurs winning it all. To me, the rich just got richer. For Kyle Anderson at a UCLA to fall in their lap, he's a younger.
Doesn't it always seem to happen that way with San Antonio, though?
It's amazing because this is a guy who's a Boris Diaw clone. He can shoot the basketball, he can handle the basketball, he can play multiple positions, he can guard multiple positions at times. He'll have to work on that. But he fits into their system. He's a system player. Under Greg Popovich, I think he's really going to flourish.
Andrew Wiggins, the #1 pick, and you'll be seeing him in action in Minnesota. What do you make of him?
I'm looking forward to watching him play. I don't like really judging players. You know, everybody's like, well, this guy going to be the next great player. He's got great genes. And I think it probably was going to be good for him to go to Minnesota. Now he can be the leader of a team, and he won't be under scrutiny. They got a good young team up in Minnesota. But the number one rookie, I mean, obviously we're all guessing now because these kids don't play in college enough to get a full example. I do love Kyle Anderson. The Spurs proved again to me, you know, they got Tony Parker at the end of the first round. They got Ginobili in the second round. They made a trade to get Kawhi Leonard. Now you get, man, they have the best organization in the NBA. Now they hired a female as an assistant coach, which was progressive and amazing. But if I had to pick one guy to be Rookie of the Year, I'm going to go with Bunley out of Indiana, went to the Bobcats. I guess they're the Hornets now, aren't they?
Number 9 in Charlotte.
Oh, yeah, he's going to get some minutes. He's going to play. Just remember.
He's the power forward, isn't he?
Yeah.
What about Al Jefferson?
Al's playing center. They're going to have to play this kid. You watch this kid.
You know, I like
he only
him.
played one year at Indiana, so people didn't get. Indiana didn't make the tournament. But I got a chance when I was looking at a couple of Big Ten games. This kid is going to be special.
Yeah.
He's a little raw, but in the next 3 or 4 years.
Well, Raw doesn't win the Rookie of the Year.
Exactly.
At minutes.
He said Rookie of the Year. Raw does not win Rookie of the Year. He might be a good player, but he's not going to win a Rookie of the Year.
Oh, all these kids are raw.
No, to me, Jabari Parker is a little more fine-tuned than everyone. I think he can step in and give to 17 to 20 points on a bad Milwaukee team. To me, that's Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, but we're going to hold that against him.
Right.
No, I think the Rookie of the Year, you don't get hold against your
on a bad team.
Don't.
Look at Michael Carter Williams.
Michael Carter Williams.
Right. Like, he won
it's just
7 games last year.
But that was by default.
Statistical.
But that was by default.
It's a statistical.
But that was by default that he won Rookie of the Year, in fairness.
I have to agree with
Jabari.
Jabari.
I thought Victor
Oladipo
won Rookie of the Year.
I'll tell you who we'll be watching the highlights of most. The kid Levine. He's a rookie, so we call him what we want right now. Zach
Also
Levine,
Minnesota.
Minnesota kid. So the two of those guys, Wiggins and Levine playing together, I think are going to be entertaining.
How about Julius Randle? People looking at him and saying, hey, he's in second coming of Zach Randolph.
I think Randall will have a good year. I think because he'll get minutes, he'll get touches, he'll put up numbers. But I have to agree with Reg. Jabari Parker, to me, will be the Rookie of the Year because, to me, out of all the rookies that are coming into the league, he has the package. He has the outside game. He has the inside game. He can put it on the floor. He can get to the foul line. And he will get what most most rookies crave is minutes. So he's going to play 30, 35, 37 minutes a night. So he's going to get numbers.
But the most be able to say, as a coach for Milwaukee, he's like, he could do these 3 things every night. With the other guys, you're not sure what they could do every night. Well, if I get him open off these curls, he's going to knock down shots. If I put him in a pick and roll and they force a switch, he can post up and score. So he's got 2 things that you just know, 2 or 3 things he could do. With the other guys are like, can you take that from college and move it into the NBA? I don't know.
Let me ask you guys this then. By him being a small forward, it seems that the most athletic guy every night is going to check him. So you still would say that he might have the best opportunity? Because the big fellas, all you got to do is put back effort, keep working. Yeah, and I'm asking.
I see him playing more forward as opposed to 3. I think he's more of a power forward than he is a small forward.
But if you look at their team, they have a team that's
Very
full of
long.
mismatches.
Yeah.
And they got the Greek freak.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's the matchup problem that teams are going to say, okay, who do we guard? Who do we put on him? And I think everyone else will fall in line. I think Jabari will benefit from it.
Yeah, go ahead.
To answer your question, all these little guys talking about guards, I'm gonna take it up, go with the big man. Nerlens Noel. Whatever, Noel something. Nerlens Noel, Nerlens Noel. He missed all last year due to injury.
He got energy too.
This is not going to go down in the Hall of Fame.
Chuck, leave me. Chuck, leave me. I'm sounding like Chuck. But anyway.
Irvin's Noel out with energy.
Irvin's Noel.
What?
Nerlens.
Nerlens. Okay,
We agree.
Nerlens, Noel.
This will be his rookie season.
Yeah, Noel.
Dude in Philly, right?
Yeah, Philly Afro.
We agree, man.
This guy was a beast. I'm anxious to see what he can do in the league. Erlens, Noel?
Nerlens. Point guard question for you and you. Dante Exum. Dante Exum, teenage point guard. What's he in for in this year at this level?
He's coming into right now probably the toughest position in the NBA at the point guard because
in the West.
Because you got guys not only can they run their team, but they can also score and embarrass you every night. So
I don't know if he's going to be playing the point because I still think Trey Burke will still be the point guard. I think he'll be more of a hybrid, play multiple positions, but his position
wherever
will
he's
be
at,
two.
he's in trouble.
I do agree with you, Isaiah. When I played, I thought the point guard position was the most, like you had a nightmare every single night. And I do agree with you, man. The point guards in this league right now.
Especially in the West.
But I'm just saying.
It's like it used to be where, because Dream used to come into the locker room and go, oh, Kenny, yo, you have to play every night. We play in the Dallas Mavericks. They're terrible. But Jason Kidd is good. I only play 3 times a year.
We are going to take a break here on Open Court in our season preview edition. Back with more here on NBA TV right after this. For more Open Court, log on to NBA.com. Back here on Open Court as we wrap things up, and I think I can speak for the whole group when I say that we're happy that we don't have to talk about Donald Sterling Clipper situation anymore. And now Steve Ballmer is the man, and my, what a splash he's made when I get all your reactions to this. There's your new Clippers owner, and energetic he is. You saw the players there. What do you make of this when he's on the scene and he's your guy now? What do you think, C-Web?
First of all, he went to the best high school in the world, Country Day. How you doing, Mr. Ballmer? But besides that, after that, I just really, in this day of corporate America where, guys play stoic and unemotional, you have a billionaire, somebody that's saying, I'm like a kid in the candy store for being around these guys. This is fun. And, hey, Blake, I love you. I might trade you. Hey, Chris, I love you. It's all business, But I just, as a fan, I love seeing that because I know guys that have no dollars to their name that would be that same way if they came in and got to own the team. So I think it's good for the NBA and happy to see somebody really proud to be an owner.
I had a couple $1 billion. I'd be screaming like that every day anyway, though. Like,
well,
every day
if you
hey, what's up, y'all?
I want some breakfast. Give me some orange juice.
Ham and eggs.
If you spent $2 billion and still had another $20 billion, I'd be screaming like that too. No, but Ernie, it's great for the Clipper organization because, Donald Sterling gave the Clippers, even when they been bad and successful, he gave them a bad name. Now they got a terrific coach in Doc Rivers. Blake is a terrific player, Chris Paul. They got great guys. And I felt bad for those players doing that Donald Sterling thing because he screwed up, but they had to answer for it. And it's just great to see, you see the joy in their faces. I mean, hey, listen, dude got a couple $1 billion, he should be happy.
Even though some people think he overpaid, I think it was a great investment because with Kobe leaving in a couple years, Clippers has always been the team that hasn't really been looked at in the city of Los Angeles. Again, with Kobe leaving in 2 years and them being young and exciting, they could actually take over that city. They could actually take it over.
Those of us who've known Steve, that's him. I mean, he loves basketball. I mean, when he was coming to the Pistons games and, when every time he go to a Country Day high school game, even when he moved out to Seattle, he was following the Washington team. I mean, he's a fan of the game and probably knows more about the game, statistically and from watching it than a lot of the owners who have come into the league. So I'm happy that we got someone who's knowledgeable about the game, who's a fan of the game, and who's passionate about the game, and who really gets it,
Last word.
But more importantly, I think Adam Silver is happy because looking at that clip, it's day and night between Sterling and obviously Ballmer. And I think there was such a black cloud, especially during the playoffs and covering the games and going to Staples and seeing the fans and seeing everything that was going on.
And that was before with the comments.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right.
But no, it's a new day.
You need to be careful, too. Don't say black cloud.
Don't say that? Is that borderline?
I'm just saying, clouds are white. If you call them black, they might get offended and you get fired.
My bad, sir. You're right. Sorry.
It could be storming.
Yeah, storm clouds.
When storm black clouds come?
That's our season preview here on Open Court on NBA TV. We watch and wait to see how it all plays out. And we'll see you again next time.